Day 11, coach your brain. Now I've got a confession to make. Starting yesterday and still today, I can feel that I've got what I call a jumping brain. What do I mean with a jumping brain? I mean that my brain is all over the place. It cannot concentrate. It's jumping from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And I am having great problems to control it. Firstly, I think my first question to myself is, what is the cause? Is it because I'm so busy? Is it because there's so many things to do? Is it because I'm distracted? Is it because I'm not focused? Is it because I'm excited about something else and I can't concentrate? So really focusing on what is the reason for this. When I'm really, really busy, the one thing that helps me is to create a list of things that I need to do. Even if I've got a list, I will rewrite my list, but I do it from the perspective of priority. What do I need to do first? For those of you who have done my advanced course, you know that we have an action priority matrix. So I use that philosophy of what do I need to do first? What are the urgent pressing things? And then I look for the quick wins. What can I do that's going to take me very little time, very little effort, and get those off the list? There's nothing more satisfying than getting through a list and crossing things off and realizing that you are actually doing things. So that's one of my first strategies to help my jumping brain. Now, if I am still hyperactive, not concentrating, if I'm still jumping from the phone to Facebook to something else, to calling, to looking to, then I start to think about changing what I'm doing. And there are two things that really do work for me. The first one is I force myself to stop everything and I force myself to go and sit and meditate at least for 1 hour to really calm everything down and get my focus back. The second thing I do is I decide to go and get some exercise. So I either go for a run, or I go for a walk, or in my little bit of a garden here, I have something very special. And trampoline. Now apparently trampolining is fantastic for ADHD. You know, trampolining apparently promotes dopamine. It gets that dopamine production going, and every now and again I get on my little trampoline. And just as a final thought, I was reading about buffering. Many people buffer this inability to focus by doing something in the background. I know that when I was studying law, and when I really need to get deep into cases and essays and things like that, I used to always have loud music playing in the background. And apparently when you buffer, you help the focus. We know that multitasking is not good, and multitasking means tasks using this prefrontal cortex and executive functions. But actually buffering is when you are using the prefrontal cortex for one task and the subconscious, it's almost like you get the subconscious into that happy, calm, quiet state by buffering it with something else. So my buffer was music. And I've heard of other people who like to listen to things while bouncing a ball. Everything is fine as long as you know what works for you. So, do you buffer your focus with something? I'm intrigued. Let me know. So, can we really say that it's ADHD? I mean, you could really call me an adult with ADHD because I have a brain that is jumping a lot. And I do know how to get myself focused. There are days when I just let it run and let it jump. But there are other days where I have to harness focus and discipline the brain. And that's when I do my exercise or I meditate. Those are my extreme, I'm going to say, brain hackers to calm my brain down. What about you? What do you do when you get the brain jumps? I'm not going to call it ADHD. I think it is a sign that we are very busy. I think it's a sign that we handle so many things in our brain. And I think it's really a question for each and every one of us to find the way to override those brain jumps.